everyone. Welcome back to DXM Musica. I'm Blendrix.
I'm Gosh.
And we are two musicians discussing topics important to us. Today is episode 8 of DXM Musica. We are going to be reviewing Not Your Father's Root Beer. It is the first root beer I've ever even heard of that is alcoholic. This is a 5.9% ABV.
I'm personally looking forward to it because beer, for the most part, tastes terrible to me. So, but I do like root beer. So,
all right, here we are. Cheers, buddy.
Cheers.
Oh,
This is.
I could drink a lot of this.
Yeah, I can tell this is already better than everything else we've had. All right, so
today we're starting off on a light note: science and technology.
we, I guess NASA has discovered a very close to Earth-like planet called Kepler. What was the number?
Kepler 452b.
So, but the Earth-like is a very loose term. It's similar.
It's Earth-like in some very distinct ways, but they have either no way of knowing right now, based on the distance, a lot of the features of it.
If it's made of rock or gas.
They can't tell if it's rock or gas. It's large enough that it could be made of gas, but they don't know yet. And they won't be able to figure that kind of stuff out until they get a lot closer imaging or a lot better imaging. Basically, the way that the Kepler spacecraft figures out what planets are is by watching for little shadows of planets passing in front of their suns. They can figure out how big the planet is based on how much the sun wobbles back and forth.
And also just the amount of light reduction when the body passes in front of it.
So yeah, they've got various different methods of figuring out. I mean, if you were to look at the data that they're analyzing just with your bare eyes, you'd be like, how do they know all that based on just that little thing they've got there? And it's all...
Well, they're also just really smart people.
Yes,
so
they're scientists.
Most of you are too stupid to know how they figure this stuff out.
We're too stupid to know this.
Well, exactly right. Well, at least we know that we're not smart enough to know.
Yeah.
But, I mean, on the other end of that, the fact... there are a lot of articles that bug the shit out of me where they say, oh, we found another Earth. We're moving tomorrow.
Right.
And
no, this is 1,400 light years away. We're nowhere near getting to the speed of light at human travel.
And even if it would be 14 years, and I was telling...
1,400.
14, I'm sorry. My brain.
Yeah.
See? Not smart enough.
Yeah.
1,400 years. And I was telling Blendrix earlier, we can't even balance our budget, let alone figure out engine technology or power technology to get us there. So it's very cool. It's very exciting. I'm happy that we're finding stuff out. We're not moving anytime soon. So if we fuck up the Earth, we're probably
stuck here.
Yeah.
The gravity well we have in the Earth, we have like every time you try to move even a tiny little bit of matter into space, it costs millions of dollars. So there's no way we're going to move.
Well, unless we do space stations. And then we just...
but anytime you launch anything to the space station, you have to spend millions of dollars to get that little thing there, whether it's a person, whether it's payload, any of that kind of stuff.
Are you at all familiar with the space elevator concept?
That is, I mean, that's a concept. It's not been put into practice yet.
Right,
so as of right
feasible.
now, we don't have anywhere near the technology that's going to take to get anybody off this planet into space, into near space, for any sort of cost-effective solution at all, much less get them out into interstellar space, much less get them all the way into this other solar system that's relatively nearby in terms of like our galaxy, because the galaxy is tens of thousands of light years across, and this is like pretty close. But still,
it's kind of a sobering thought that as cool as technology gets, we might just be stuck here forever.
Oh, we are. We're here for a very, very long time, longer than anyone that's here that's alive. Unless we figure out teleportation, which is not likely.
Yeah.
The important thing is that what we're learning from this is the fact that there are we can figure out things about Earth. We can learn about how Earth and our solar system evolved from its inception by looking at other solar systems that are in their earlier stages. We can figure out where our solar system is likely to be headed by looking at other ones that are slightly more mature than ours. So we can find a solar system that's similar to ours in a lot of regards. We can say, oh, look, they've got similar asteroid belts in a similar kind of cluster. And if they're having impacts on their planets over there, we might say, oh, we're going to have those probably here too. They can figure a lot of that out based on math, but this is just This is just the kind of things why this is important. Even though we can't get there, we can learn a lot about our solar system based on looking at theirs.
To me, usually the most exciting part about these discoveries is the fact that we've created technology that can actually observe these kinds of things. So the technology aspect is always the most interesting part to me. Just considering 15, 20 years, the amount of resolution increase we've gotten in these cameras and sensors and everything. And we're not talking long time, 10 years or so.
Right.
But you're getting images that are millions of times more clear, more useful.
Mm-hmm.
So,
and speaking of clear images, the New Horizons spacecraft just did its flyby of Pluto last week, I think it was. And man, we got some amazing pictures. I hope that I'll figure out a way to actually paste some pictures into the video here in the post-production so you guys can see. It's actually fascinating.
It is.
It's really, really cool. And we've learned all kinds of things about Pluto's moons that we didn't know about before. Like one of Pluto's moons is not spherical. There's not a lot of moons out there that are not spherical. And on a planet that I guess it is a planet again.
Well,
the size of Pluto.
Wait till next week.
A planet that size, a lot of its moons are going to be really small. And when something is small enough that it doesn't generate enough of its own gravity to sort of form itself into a ball, it doesn't necessarily become a ball. So one of Pluto's moons kind of looks more like an asteroid.
Beautiful planets come in all shapes and sizes.
Oh, that was so touching.
I know. So lay off NASA. It's got a moon and they're in love. But in any case, so
it's a polyamorous relationship. It has more than one.
I would think it's more of a swingers
relationship. An orbiter's relationship.
But in any case, so very cool stuff as far as technology. So whenever somebody says, "Hey, I've lost faith in the human race," fuck you. We're doing awesome things.
We are. We are indeed.
So
speaking of awesome things that we're doing.
Oh yes.
I did this. Actually, my sister put that on my. So if you guys are wondering what's on his hands, it's henna. My sister does henna stuff.
I can actually grow my own facial hair, so I don't need.
Hey, we have different facial hair abilities. Okay,
facial abilities. So, well, I guess after talking about how awesome humanity is,
time to talk about how not awesome humanity is. Take it away, Gosh.
Last week, I was in Colorado Springs. To those of you not in Colorado, that's just southern Colorado.
It's more like central, actually.
Is it?
In terms of the layout of the whole state?
I guess so.
Pueblo's closer to southern Colorado. There's a lot more Colorado to the south of where we are.
Colorado Springs is massive. Anyway, that's not important. So I was picking up a client from the, I think it was the Air Force Academy.
Mm-hmm.
And I guess I was not keenly aware of a particular situation involving Marines a few weeks ago. A few weeks or 1 week ago?
Last week.
Last week. So anyway, I go in, and apparently my name caused enough suspicion, because it's not white, that I was actually held under armed guard for about 10 hours until they figured out what exactly or who exactly I was. So
what you were or were not up to.
Considering the fact that I am American, Social Security and everything, I pay taxes, just as American as,
apple pie.
Well, no, I'm actually more American than apple pie because I have to work at being here. So it was a very surreal thing, because I've experienced something similar, closer to 9/11, and I thought, it's sort of not that it was right, but I can understand. But it happening again was kind of really aggravating. You don't quite feel as disgusting or pathetic or as demeaned as when you're essentially arrested especially for something that you didn't do. I was actually held under armed guard. People with M4s were in the room with me, keeping me locked down for about 10 hours. The last 3 hours or so, they lightened up after they realized, oh, he speaks English, and he's probably smarter than all of us here. So they got pretty apologetic and pleasant towards the end, but it was still a shitty experience. And
no kidding.
It's as advanced as everybody likes to think the States is getting, it's still really aggravating that you run into these weird old remnants of, stupidity and racism. I can't really say it. There literally was nothing except my name and maybe the fact that I have a beard.
For their initial suspicions, I would say it was all based on racism stuff. The only thing I could think for why you ended up being there for 10 hours as opposed to maybe initial an initial preliminary interrogation was the fact that then they found out you're also from Kuwait. That's the only thing I can think of. And then the other shooter was also from Kuwait and also a naturalized American citizen. So the only thing I can think of is like, this guy is so similar to that other guy.
Well, and to some degree, yes, but the other guy was not actually born in Kuwait. 1, 2, his record I think was a little bit more colorful than mine. I don't think I have much more than
parking tickets,
and speeding tickets. So my record's rather clean.
That's the other theory, is that maybe they thought, his record's too clean. Someone wiped his record so that he could get in here and do something bad.
It just seems very silly that I would come under the pretenses that I was coming in as. If I was going to go through all that trouble, I would just not arrive with an Arabic name. So if I was going to come in and cause issues, I would
you'd have a fake name.
I would shave my beard.
Yeah.
As shitty as it's, I like this beard. I've had this beard forever, and I adamantly am keeping this beard.
You guys should have seen it a week or two ago. It was really getting nice.
Well, it's I'm keeping it because I don't want to cave into that mentality. It's like, well, he's bearded, he must be. I like having beards. I was growing beards before
it was cool.
Yeah. So that was pretty much it. So
actually, it's always been really hot to have a beard, so it's never really been cool. But
true. But I mean, you get those like the '80s porn stash, and it's just I've always had facial hair.
Yeah.
So I'm refusing to shave it, and shame on you guys that kept me held up there for no reason besides he's slightly beige and has a name that's not American.
So, yeah, we still have a long ways to go. People that say that racism is not a thing in America anymore,
it fucking is.
Your head is in your ass.
Yeah.
Seriously. Like, look around you and you will see it happening. You don't even have to look hard.
And it's almost casual with how it's happening. I think that's the part.
They didn't even say, we're they sort of apologized like your armed guards did, but you didn't get an official letter of apology.
Oh, no.
You didn't get compensated for the time that you were held there.
Not at all.
You were trying to conduct business with a client. They basically screwed up your appointment and you lost money as a result of that.
And also now I'm not allowed on the base. I can appeal, but honestly, now that I'm thinking about it,
you're like, I'm not going to go back there. Yeah.
Why in the fuck would I want to go back there? But see, that's also a shitty thing. The fact that they did something that now has affected my want to go there. If I might want to go there and see somebody, it's just now I've had to alter just.
You can have plenty of clients that could be on that base or any other
friend or an acquaintance, anything. Yeah. But now I will not go because of this particular incident.
Yeah, people talk about no-go zones. This is the actual no-go zone. This poor guy can't go there anymore, and it's not. And he didn't even do anything wrong. It's just that he showed up there one day. They had a problem with him. Turned out there wasn't actually a problem, but they're still suspicious enough to say, no, you're not allowed back here anymore. What the fuck?
Well, but yeah. So if you see an Arab, wouldn't say go hug an Arab. If you see me, come up and come up and give a handshake. But
identify yourself as a fan of the show first, because he might be a little standoffish if you just walk up to him and try to hug him in public.
Exactly. So that's kind of again, that situation that occurred is terrible, but
deplorable.
But again, one asshole doesn't define an entire culture or religion, just as, one Asian lady that doesn't use her blinkers doesn't mean...
Oh, God!
All Asians
racial stereotypes, gosh, racial stereotypes.
What?
Come on.
So anyway, so moving on.
All right, we're changing the name of our next segment to make sure that we have a nice acronym name for it. So formerly This Week in Stupid is now being changed to This Week in Triumphantly Stupid, so it can be shortened to TWITS.
We thought of that ourselves.
We did. So, gosh, did you hear this thing about how Bill Gates wants to sterilize the American public?
My God, I always knew he was a Nazi somehow.
A Nazi and a lizard overlord.
So apparently, people think that Bill Gates actually has developed these new types of microchips.
Let's tell them the background. So
I want to tell them.
Okay.
What the conspiracy theory is, and then we can go.
Then we can debunk it. Okay.
Yeah, so a lot of people think these new microchips that they're developing, these are almost nano microchips. They can be inserted internally, and from the research that we've been able to do, they are able to dispense certain medications or hormones or some sort of
timed basis. It's kind of like a pacemaker. How you can implant a pacemaker and it'll sit there and go thunk, 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 until your heart.
It's like smart medication.
Yeah, exactly. It gives you the dose when you're supposed to have the dose, rather than you have to remember to take the dose.
But one of the things that these things are sort of capable of dispensing or plan to dispense is birth control. So,
sort of the same way that currently women get a thing called Implanon, which is put into their arm.
Yes.
But that's just a piece of plastic that kind of sort of just gives off hormones at a like predictable rate over the course of, I think it's like 6 months or something like that.
It's a while. Yeah. So this is a more intelligent way of dispensing. So it might help with mood swings.
Right.
That women get mood swings when they're on
Stop while you're ahead.
but yeah, so it's an intelligent way of dispensing medication, and one of these medications or hormones is to help. That's totally me, and I apologize, but it's birth control, which I think would be great. If they had one for men, I would totally be on board. So
you would have like 3 of them.
I would, yeah, but
just inject them in every vein.
Yeah, but but people, being that they're morons, is they'll always take any specific thing and take it to the worst extreme, and then paint whoever is initiating this program or whatever as Satan.
Right.
So everybody thinks that Bill Gates actually wants to sterilize women.
So let's give them the background. As a Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation is a foundation, a nonprofit that was founded by Bill and his husband, or his
they can if
his wife Melinda. They founded this nonprofit organization with all the billions that Bill had lying around, and then they made it into this thing that focuses primarily on controlling the spread of sexually transmitted diseases and like family planning stuff, unwanted pregnancy stuff. A lot of their research is going into helping third world countries that are having a really huge problem controlling their STDs and their population boom, because now
stop having sex, Africa.
Like that's ever going to happen anywhere that humans are involved.
And China.
Yeah. So basically, most of what they're concentrating on, their research on, is the human reproductive stuff, and trying to get it so that we're more under control, because we're never going to stop having sex, obviously.
No,
but maybe we can make it so that when we do have sex, we're less likely to kill each other with this dumb like diseases we give each other, and maybe stop popping out 7 or 8 kids per family, only 3 of which you can afford to feed.
Right, and
so,
there's nothing wrong with not having kids if you can't have them.
Right.
But that shouldn't be taken as we're sterilizing the human race.
Right. So what the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation is funding is research into using this microchip that can release birth control hormones on a predictable, consistent basis. And I'm assuming these chips could probably be used for all kinds of other drugs and stuff like that. But because they're pushing it as the forerunner drug for the rest of the things, the conspiracy theorists are all jumping up in arms saying Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation, or just Bill Gates, is trying to sterilize the American population, trying to get population control, trying to eliminate the rest of because they think that somehow, I guess the conspiracy theorists think that
they're being injected unknowingly.
Yeah, that somehow this thing is getting injected to you when you're like getting a Slurpee at 7-Eleven or something.
I mean, just a bit of background. Of all the rich people on Earth, Bill Gates is probably one of the people that I respect the most. Mm-hmm. And I've seen just throughout his career in life, I've seen his initiatives. I've seen his programs, and I like the guy. I respect the hell out of the guy. I liked him a lot more than I like, what's his face, Steve Jobs. But so I respect the guy. I don't really see him turning into evil overlord all of a sudden. And even if I did hear the story, which I did, my first question would be, that doesn't sound right. And lo and behold, it didn't sound
It wasn't right.
It wasn't
right at all.
It was a automated nanobot chip medication dispensing piece
It's like
of
the
hardware.
kind of thing where, so there's wireless technology built into it as well. So it's more than just the time release stuff. There's the ability for
monitoring health or something.
monitoring health, monitoring the actual deployment of the drug in your system, and possibly even if you get it as a prescription from your doctor, then later on you can say, hey, so I think the hormones are dialed up a little too high because I keep getting these crazy mood swings, or
doctors could probably
adjust your prescription level with a little wireless device. They could say, all right, yeah, we'll dial it down a couple notches. Done. And instead of having to take and like dig the little thing out of your arm, pull it out, and then adjust the thing and then put it back in again, wireless just means they can adjust it without having to do another surgery for you. Doesn't mean that there's a control tower in Redmond, Washington, that's broadcasting the no babies signal to the whole world.
I'm just thinking it would be great for doctors to monitor patients when they're at home. You can log it into a Wi-Fi network or something.
Yeah, people have no problem with sending their Fitbit data to their doctor, but the only difference is that they wear it on the outside of their skin. They're both voluntary things that you decide to sign up for. The only difference is that the one that's implanted under your skin, you don't have to worry about it. It won't ever fall off. You don't have to recharge it. It can't be damaged.
It's just, again, this is what I'd like to call stupid people making stupid things about smarter people. Mm-hmm. So Bill Gates, I think, is a smart guy.
Don't hate, innovate.
Oh, I like that. But yeah, so yeah, if you believe that Bill Gates was trying to sterilize the human race,
think again.
I'm just going to call them morons, but yeah, I guess think again.
Think harder.
So,
or maybe stop trying to think.
But I guess it's kind of a shorter episode today. But we're gonna review Not Your Mom's or Dad.
Not Your Father's Root Beer, ale with the taste of spices. From Small Town Brewery, La Crosse, Wisconsin.
I like this. I like this a lot. This is the tastiest non-beer tasting beer that I've. I'm serious. This is really good. This is
downright drinkable.
Mm-hmm. Drinkable. That's exactly what it is.
Yeah, it tastes like a good root beer, better than Barks or IBC or and it's actually
small batch flavor kind of.
Yeah, and it's got the alcohol in it too, but it doesn't taste like beer alcohol. And it doesn't taste like hard alcohol.
It just doesn't taste like alcohol. This straight up tastes like root beer.
I can taste a little tiny bit of alcohol like aftertaste, but when I'm actually taking the sip, I don't taste it at all. It's mostly just the kind of after sipping it. But I can tell that it's alcoholic, but it doesn't get in the way of the taste at all.
I could just hang out and drink.
I could get really, really sloppy on these.
I agree. I would give it a 9.
I'm going with a 9 as well.
Yeah, this is really, really good. So far on the show, this has absolutely been my favorite. So, Small Town Brewery, nicely done. Mm-hmm. I like it. So
absolutely.
But
we have one more thing to cover on this show, and that is Denver scene lost a longtime DJ and friend to a lot of us, Digga. One of the things that really bugs us about this is the fact that there's been this huge, huge outpouring of love and support and everything like that after his death. But what really, I guess, the bugging part is that nobody really showed him the love and support and everything before he died, and that's kind of why he took his life. Or at least I would imagine that when you're not shown the love and support, you have less reasons to want to stay alive. And so we just want to tell the world, hey,
maybe tell the people
that mean something to you that they mean something to you
while they're alive.
There's
no use telling somebody who's dead that you love them.
All the tributes in the world will never help bring someone back from the dead. Yes, it's cathartic to the rest of us who are still alive.
Because it just helps the living. And fuck you. You weren't there to help.
So I didn't know him personally. I'm not trying to put anybody in particular on blast here, but I do want to say that it's more important now, having seen all this go down. To me, I'm going to make a much more concerted effort to reach out to the people who mean something to me and tell them, even if it's just every once in a while, say, hey, how you doing? Haven't seen you in a while.
I'm thinking about you.
Thinking about you. Hope you're doing well. So that tiny little bit of reassurance or it could have been enough to and who knows? I really don't know enough about the situation to comment any further, but I want to make sure that everybody is aware of the fact that this kind of thing, suicide is preventable. We don't
want to get too presumptuous and think it's preventable, but a larger portion is preventable.
Not all of it may be preventable, but enough of it to the point where people, especially the kind of people who have this kind of diverse social connection network. I mean, he was friends with a lot of people, and
although the industry itself probably lends itself to.
Yeah, there's definitely a lot of backbiting and stuff in our
backbiting,
industry.
Drinking, probably drug use.
Yeah,
it's not a healthy environment. But,
no, not at all.
But again, if you care about somebody, tell them all while they're alive. One thing I'll say personally here is the 5 years I was overseas, Blendrix and I were pretty much in touch a couple times a week, whether it was just a text or a call.
Shoot, we were more in touch while you were living there oftentimes than while you've been living here. Well, now, that may have been because you were just not doing hardly anything while you were there, and now you're all busy, too busy to talk to me.
Oh, shut up. I'm still adjusting. I've actually just moved and got a puppy, so maybe next episode we'll record it at my house and you'll see the puppy.
All right.
But it's just let people know that they are appreciated. If you don't appreciate them, then I guess it doesn't really
then don't say anything.
Yeah, but if you honestly do love them, then
tell them.
Yeah. It's because once they're dead, that's all she wrote. There's really not a whole lot. Like all the flowers, all the balloon releases, all the
candlelight vigils,
all the Facebook posts, all the fucking Facebook posts will not bring them back. So maybe think about it tonight. If there is somebody out there that, maybe I haven't talked to them in a while, maybe you should consider talking to them, saying hello, hey, miss you, think about you. You never know. You might be saving that person's life. You don't know.
Yep.
On that token, though,
yeah, that thing pretty much closes it up for the night. Wow, we were actually getting pretty good at keeping these episodes short and sweet. And then we actually covered some decently meaty topics on that one without even going over half an hour.
It was more so talking about things we've just kind of got. I didn't think this one was particularly deep, but it was enjoyable. But you guys let us know if you want longer episodes, shorter episode, any particular topics you guys want us to discuss.
Topics would be really good.
We've been
especially if you're an expert on any of the topics that we would be, that we've covered or that you think that we would like to cover. We would love to get your specialized opinion on something science related, mathematics.
Absolutely.
Culture.
We're always willing to listen to people that actually know what they're talking about.
Right. And we're trying to get to a point where we can have some guests on the show too. So if you're,
There's a couple of semi-controversial topics that I don't think Blendrix or I are properly equipped to handle by ourselves.
Yep.
That we would need people from those particular industries or lifestyles that they could address. So we're still trying to figure out how to do that. So as far as bringing them here. But it is in the works. But in the meantime, the comments have been great, and topic suggestions have been pretty all right. So keep those coming, and the more controversial, the better. We want we don't play softball here. Exactly right. Exactly right. But again, thanks everybody for tuning in. Appreciate the support, and we'll see you
see you next time. Episode 9.
Episode 9.
We're downright close to breaking the double digits.
Oh shit. Have a good one, guys.
All right, see you guys.